to the Nasboys podcast. Did you know that this weekend's race at the Indianapolis Road Course was the first race with one caution since Auto Club in 2012? So, anyways, guys, welcome to the Nasboys podcast. I'm your host, Mike, aka Mike Fob Fan 101, with my good friend and co-host Cam, aka Noticed_Cam.
Howdy, y'all.
So let's get down to talking about this weekend's races over at Indianapolis. Two different racetracks, but same area. Kicking things off. I don't know. You want to start with the truck race?
Yeah, we can go ahead with the truck race. Yeah.
So the truck race at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. I thought this race was pretty solid. There was a lot of great racing all around the field. We saw Ty Majeski pretty much dominate the whole race, and I called it that Ty Majeski was going to win this race, and he finally gets some redemption from the last truck race at Richmond where he was close to winning it, but just could not get it done. So props to him for doing that. Some other drivers that I felt were really good were William Sandwich, who he finished in sixth, as well as Lane Riggs, who started in 12th, and he finished third in the Spire entry. Let's see, Rajah Karuf as well looked really good, finally getting a rebound. He ended up finishing seventh after starting fourth. This was also the first race of the Truck Series playoffs. What else is there really to note? I mean, Haley Deegan, not looking good. She wrecked, I think, twice.
Per usual. Sorry, per usual.
She looked good in the SRX race, but just in her normal series that does not do crap. But overall, I really enjoyed the race. I will give it around an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought it was a decent race. I thought, the whole time it wasn't like slow points. I thought it kind of just kept moving. Majeski did, pretty much dominate. He was up in front for practically the whole race. I told Mike, I said someone that I was surprised of was Lane Riggs as well. I wasn't expecting him to get top three. Another guy I'd also say besides William Solowich, or how you say his name, would be Nick Sanchez. He got 11th, and I thought he did pretty good too. And you also got to see Matt DiBenedetto in top 10. I feel like I haven't seen his face really familiar in a while. So, but overall, yeah, it was a decent race. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably say like a 7 out of 10.
So taking a look at the playoff standings, Ty Majeski is obviously first. He's locked to the next round. Corey Heim is second. Christian Eckes is third. Hocevar is fourth. Smith is fifth. Grant Enfinger is sixth. Ben Rhodes is seventh. And then eighth is Nick Sanchez. And then the two out, I believe, are Matt Crafton and Matt DiBenedetto. Taking a look at what you guys had to say, I believe it was 50-50 with it. I'm just pulling it up. And here it is. All right. So 0% said great, 50% said good, 50% said mess, that's okay, and nobody said bad. No thoughts. Driver day, I give it to Ty Majeski, but Corey Heim also did a really good job. He started up in the front and pretty much stayed there most of the race.
Yeah. I'd say Majeski all the way. Oh yeah, I might pick Corey Heim. You got 8th. Yeah, forgot about that. Forgot to say that.
Taking a look at the Xfinity race, this was a bit interesting. There was a lot of rain going on, so they had to delay the start a little bit because I think they didn't have the wet tires. But we saw Ty Gibbs in this race, who I keep forgetting he's raced in these Xfinity races, and he keeps doing it. He won the race over AJ Allmendinger, which Allmendinger has not been looking like himself a little bit. Usually we see him at these road courses, but now, he's been finishing second and third a lot, which is not bad, but it's like, AJ's this road course ringer.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being a little too overcritical with AJ. He's still awesome.
Yeah.
Incidents to note in this race were Kaz Grala and John Hunter Nemechek toward the end. If you haven't seen that, here it is.
It gets turned around. That's another spot right there for the 48 and the 2. And there goes a 98. All three of those guys, they always seem to race for points every single week. All three of them got by John Hunter. So Kaz Gralla down here in the braking zone, slides the rear tires, tries to get back on the racetrack here. And I know that Kaz Gralla's offline, trying to rejoin. That's just, I don't know, man, that's tough to call. The 20 could have given himself a little more room there, but it's hard to get. It's hard to get through that turn one. You're riding on board. So Kaz is right there against the curve, just trying to get going again.
So basically, if you couldn't tell, Kaz Gralla, I don't know what that was. He came from the track. He ran over the curb on accident, and then he just straight up rammed into John Hunter Nemechek. I don't know what that was.
Yeah.
But it was just really stupid, in my opinion. It's kind of like the Daniel Suarez and Chase Briscoe thing that happened, Darlington, I believe. So
Yeah. I
yeah, it
think
was
Kaz Gralla, he's definitely deserving of the clown of the week. Not because he did anything like clownish, but just his racing was a little goofy out there.
oh yeah, it was definitely cool seeing Ty Gibbs. He pretty much dominated. I believe he passed Allmendinger on the second lap of the race. So
Yeah, Ty Gibbs, like I said, I sometimes I forget that he's in these Xfinity races, like Mike said. And also to point out too, Allmendinger, he did get third, but like Mike said as well, like he has not been being himself this year. I 100% see that. Someone I will point out though and say that I think he's had a pretty solid year would be Sam Mayer.
mhm.
Mayer, dude, he's had a really good year in my opinion. Like I feel like I've consistently seen him up in the top 5.
Yeah.
Cole Custer got 6th. Kilgerman, he was in 7th. So yeah, overall it was a decent race. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Take a look at what you guys had to say. 0% said great, 50% said good, 50% said message okay, nobody said bad. No thoughts, no driver of the day. I will have to give it to Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, no, Ty Gibbs for sure. Second would be Allmendinger, probably, because he led the second most laps, I believe.
Facts. All right, now we're already on to the. Actually, no. Let me tell you guys the Xfinity standings now because we're getting closer to playoff time.
Yes.
Don't want this to be too short, Christian. Um, Let's take a look at the playoff stand. I'm just mostly checking the playoff standings, not the driver standings. So John Hunter Nemechek is first, Austin Hill is second, Justin Allgaier is third, Cole Custer is fourth, Chandler Smith is fifth, Sam Mayer is sixth, Josh Berry is seventh, Sammy Smith is eighth, Jeb Burton is ninth, Sheldon Creed is 10th, Daniel Hemrick is 11th, and Riley Herbst is 12th. He is 34 points above the cut line. And the bubble is looking like Parker Kilgerman is 17 back, Brandon Jones is 65 back, and Brett Moffitt is not 95 back. The rest, I feel like, will not make it unless they win. So now we can get into the cup race. This looked a little boring, like I mentioned. That again, this is not an issue with one caution races, but I feel like the Indy road course is not really the best for the NASCAR stock cars, and I feel like we can get into that a little later. But yeah, man, I mean, it just I don't know, just looked a little boring out there. We saw Michael McDowell. He got in the lead, I believe, on lap 6 over Daniel Suarez, which it was really cool to see a lot of these bubble guys racing each other in this race. I was a little surprised by Suarez winning the pole and how fast he looked. I'm gonna try to pull up where he finished as I'm thinking about this race. So
Well, while Mike's talking about that, I just want to say, or looking at that, my apologies. I was like to say though that Daniel Suarez, like I feel like that team, I don't know if like I think they're really starting to make the good formula for the good road course car. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
kind of like how Chase Elliott has his spot on I think Suarez is starting to make it there. Now he is kind of on and off a little bit at road courses. Like sometimes either he does really good or he stays in the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you can go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say Suarez, he finished third. He looked really fast. My pick, Tyler Reddick, he ended up finishing fourth. Let's see. No real. Oh yeah, Shane Van Gisbergen. He came back for another race and he ended up finishing 10th. I don't know. I feel like people are overhyping SVG a little bit, but I do want to see him do well. It's kind of like mixed bag with me. One big moment of this race was that AJ Allmendinger and Ryan Blaney had a little bit of an incident. If you haven't seen that, here it is.
Here it is. Contact.
12, he's crash.
So not really sure what happened, but from what it looked like to me, Blaney just kind of hit the curb a little bit, and then he just took AJ out. AJ was mad, rightfully so. And another moment, actually, both Coley cars got screwed over. Justin Haley, he got slammed into by Joey Logano after Logano hit the curb. Here is that.
A third 23-11 entry is Justin Haley, big off. Driver's left, that's out of 5 and 6. Gets to the driver's left, heavy contact for Haley.
Man, I can't wait to see how this happened. That was a high-speed crash right there. He's going to be able to drive the car away. The tire barrier doing a lot of good work there. Side by side. That's a very narrow part of the racetrack through 5 and 6. Logano jumps the curbs and ends up getting contact with Haley. Pushes Haley out in the grass, and now Haley's just along for the ride. Watch as he hits these tire barriers. Those things are great when you hit them head on, but when you hit them sideways, it just pulls them apart from each other.
We saw on the initial lap, Chase Elliott opting to not do that through that corner.
I guess actually, now that I'm thinking of all these moments, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had it for the international drivers. I think I saw him spin like 2 or 3 of them out. There was Kobayashi, Rockefeller, Mike Rockefeller, and Tamu Kobayashi, I think, in the 67. There was another guy in the 33. I forgot his name. I don't know if he's an international guy, but he's a road course ringer. Gisbergen, obviously. Who?
Oh no, I was gonna say, basically what you're telling me is that Schnauz needs to be put under investigation for being countryist.
Pretty much. He spun out Kobayashi. Here's that.
10 seconds while you're sitting in the...
Whoa!
And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. sends Kamui Kobayashi.
And if I see any more incidents with him with the international drivers, I'll just put that all in a row. So that was a little odd. I don't know why he was going after all the international drivers, but overall I felt like that was kind of a boring race. But props to Michael McDowell. I'm glad he got a win, and you can tell it meant a lot to him, and it was cool to see him finally lock in a spot, even though he might be a first-round exit.
Yeah, I definitely happy. I always like seeing Michael McDowell, man. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys where I feel like he's mainly been unproblematic, you know. I feel like you don't hear too much about him. You think debatable, really?
I've heard like people don't like him that much for some reason. I forgot why. I know one guy doesn't like him that I know of, and I remember he did have that incident with Bubba Wallace in the 2020 All-Star race.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's solid, to be honest. If you're going that way, I guess the Bubba one for sure. And then I don't know, I haven't heard anything about him in like real life or that way or anything like that.
Well, I remember he had an incident with Suarez too.
Yeah, I can't remember that one for some reason.
They had a fight, Phoenix qualifying, I think 2018 or 19.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Suarez threw him on the hood of his car and beat the crap out of him.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd remember that just because that's right. That's probably right around when I joined, 2018, 2019. So, I'm trying to think. I know what you can say now. I'm sorry, my fault. Yeah. So when you're looking here, I know I picked Cindric and he finished out 14th. He did not do good like I thought he would have. That kind of sucked, you know, with the Blaney incident. It's funny. I think me and Mike were just talking about this the other day, like on the podcast, how like Blaney's very like unproblematic. And then it's like now.
I did not say he was unproblematic. I said he was whiny at times.
Yeah, right. But like, remember how I said that Blaney's never really getting into
Oh yeah,
like
now I remember what you're
things with
talking
people. Yes, yeah, he was never really getting into things with people, and then now he's gotten like a little accident or whatever, and I'm like, oh, like,
about.
way to make me look dumb, Blaney. No, I'm
Right.
kidding. I love Blaney. He's a good dude.
Whiny's cool. Just I wish he'd stop whining so much over the radio. But again, um, my driver yelled at a tow truck driver. So
yeah. I don't know. Besides that, though, it was an all right race. If I had to give it like a rating, I'd probably give it like a 5 out of 10. It was pretty boring at times. I can't lie.
now, Cam, I gotta ask you, do you want to see the cars go back on the Indy Oval, or do you think they should stay on the road course?
No, I think the oval, man. The oval. I feel like not only does it produce better racing, but that has more history behind it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Than the road course does. So I 100% think the oval. That's just like I said. That's like a second home for NASCAR. It's been known like that. It's just like going to the road course. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't hate the road course, but it just wasn't really. I don't know, producing a lot of good.
I agree. I think the road course was also a little boring. I think it's cool for IndyCar. I've watched a race on there, but NASCAR just I just feel it doesn't work, and I think they should give the oval a chance with the Gen 7 car. It
I do
it
too.
works really well on the type of track that Indy is, and I'd like to see it come back, or at least they do like a double header. So I don't know. I think that they want to bring it back, which is good. So I hope they
Now
do
I just
next
don't understand why they took it off. Like, what were the complications? Like, I guess that's what I was.
because I think because the ratings were low and the attendance was going down. So they wanted to try something new
Mm,
to get the fans back in the stands. And because of today, it did not work. Honestly, I believe there was not that great of a crowd, as per usual with the Indianapolis NASCAR races.
yeah, it's true. I know. Well, but yeah, that's the sad thing is I don't know. The problem is though, it's like what I don't get is because they depend more on TV than they do uh at the track, right? Or is it different?
I don't know. I think it's a mixture of both.
Because I was gonna say like, yeah, I don't know. I just thought about it. So I don't know. Just a question, I guess.
Taking a look at what you guys had to say, 33% said great, 56 said good, 11% said message okay, nobody said bad. Henry24257 says, good race. Restart zone got the field too far spread out for my liking, but decent race, 7 out of 10. I agree with you, Henry. I noticed that there was not a lot of people really moving up. So good observation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then driver of the day, Michael McDowell. I have to agree with Michael McDowell. I hate to go with the race winner of it, but this was just kind of one of those weekends where somebody dominated pretty much.
Yeah, and plus, I feel like it's kind of like a feel good moment for him too. So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say that pushes it, but it does a little bit, just a tiny little bit. It does.
I guess a couple of things to note. I mean, Shane Van Gisbergen, we already mentioned him earlier. He finished 10th. He is getting a full-time ride with Trackhouse, I believe, next year, which, again, I feel like he is a little bit overhyped, but I want to see him do well. It's kind of like a mixed bag of emotions for me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel that a lot. I don't know. I feel like that's the problem though. I feel like there's a lot of NASCAR drivers that I feel like that about. You know what I mean? That's what sucks because they have their good, but they also have like their bad. And if it is bad, it almost always looks trashy, like real trashy.
I feel like he's gonna be a better version of Marcos Ambrose. He was actually in the truck race and he finished, I think, 15th or something like that. I gotta look at it. I know he's running 15th at one point. So let me check where Gisbergen finished. He finished, I know he did not finish 15th. He finished 19th, excuse me, which is not terrible for your truck debut.
Yeah,
Um,
it actually is not bad for a truck debut. I know. I always think about that. Like what's his name? I can never think of his name. We just talked about him. Van. It's the Van.
That's what I'm talking about. Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, I know. I just think that's so funny. How he like dominated that one race in NASCAR.
Straight course, yeah. Now everybody
Yeah, I'm
loves it.
like, like out of nowhere, just out of nowhere. That's probably such a good because listen, like at the end of the day, it's like no disrespect to him. He could be the best next coming up NASCAR driver, and we don't even know about it. But like at the end of the day, though, you said what?
I said, I guess.
But what I was gonna say is that even if he didn't, like that's still a good story you can tell people and be like, yeah, like I came in out of nowhere and just won, pretty
I
good.
guess, yeah. Yeah. There was actually a fight in the ARCA race between a couple of drivers. I don't know what that was about. Here's that.
7. Oh, fist being thrown. Short track racing, hot tempers. That's Christian Rose.
You don't want Rose
and
throwing
Connor
a helmet at you.
Jones. No, you don't. Hot tempers, a lot of emotion from IRP. We'll wrap things up after this.
I don't really know what to say about it because I don't pay attention to ARCA. We're crap.
No, but it's interesting to talk about. So I'm gonna give you. I haven't seen it, and I was specifically waiting so I can watch it on like live, so I can tell you exactly what I see, which is a nice little shrub by somebody. This guy's got glasses. He thinks he's hot, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
You got this dude. He looks like a little Santa's little helper, pointing at nobody. He's got that Jimmy Neutron cut
Oh,
and pushing through, and they're just I don't know. It just kind of was weak. I don't know. A
yeah.
little
I
weird.
don't know what it was about. Even it just
No.
happened.
No, I don't know. I think it's weird. That was a weird little situation there. I do have some memes of the week for us. Now I'll tell you already which ones I like. Mike would be the SpongeBob one where it talks about Ty Gibbs racing his teammates in the Cup Series, and Ty Gibbs racing in the Xfinity Series, and then it shows Ty Gibbs racing his teammates in the Xfinity Series, and it's basically like SpongeBob going from dumb to like super bulked up and big.
Yeah.
And then the second one, this might be a little controversial here, but it's okay because it's funny. If you guys, I know if you listen, if you guys are subscribed to us, I know you guys have a sense of humor. It's Noah Gregson. It says Noah Gregson in 2025, and it's Kyle Larson holding up the championship.
I feel like it was a bit of a dry week for memes, but I didn't mind that Ty Gibbs one. Obviously with the Noah Gregson thing, he got released from his contract. He requested it, which I don't blame him. So,
No,
what's your
no
take
one
on it,
does.
Cam? We haven't really heard your thoughts on what
About
Noah
that
did.
whole situation.
I'm liking that meme.
You know what? Here's my thing. I think, and this is a problem. Now, I'm not trying to get too controversial here. I think there is definitely a problem in society, though, where I think we kind of create this false narrative that people like when listen, mind you, Noah Gregson's young. I'm sure he does have an agent, but he didn't have an agent back then when he liked that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's one of those situations where everybody makes mistakes, and I think sometimes I cope with humor. Humor makes me feel good about situations when it sucks, right? So, for example, like I can tell you, like I had a close friend die, so I made a bunch of jokes about him dying because obviously, I just cope about it. That's how I cope. Makes me feel better, and so I know there's a lot of people that do that. That helps. So not only that, but I think you're pretty weird to try to cancel somebody. Here's the thing. Here's what I hate about people. All right, and then the last thing I'm gonna say is when they get jealous at someone else's success, and so because you couldn't be that person and you had to be the same loser that's stuck at home every day working your crappy 9 to 5, and you're jealous because someone did better than you, and you had to ruin that for them. I think that's really lame. So that's really my point on it. I think it's. I mean, yeah, that's really it.
Thank you for sharing. I thought it wasn't worth a suspension, but
No, I think it was
you
definitely
should have just
not
gotten
worth.
sensitivity training.
I agree. I think that maybe some sensitivity training and also maybe just some one-on-one talk with Rick Hendricks, the people. I mean, I don't think it deserved a suspension at all. I think, sometimes, like I said, I think just they blow a lot of things out of proportion. And You know, that's why you always be careful, people who is watching this. Be careful on the internet what you do and say, because it can come back and bite you in the butt.
Yep. So talking about the next week, with Watkins Glen. I don't know why they have 2 road courses in a row, but all right. Taking a look, Xfinity Series. I'm gonna say if AJ's in it, I'm gonna say AJ wins. But if well, not if, obviously he's gonna be in the race. Duh, Mike. If not, then I'm gonna say Sam Mayer.
Oh man, dude, I'm trying to think. Watkins Glen. Okay, if Cole Custer's in it, I'm gonna say Cole Custer.
Cole Custer's definitely in it. He's an Xfinity
Yeah.
driver.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm thinking that. Who am I thinking of? No. Okay, I will actually, you know what though? I'm gonna say with that. I was gonna say if Christopher Bell, because I know sometimes he makes appearances, every once in a while. But I'm gonna say Cole Custer, 100%. He's going. He's doing it.
And for the Cup race, I am going to say Chase Elliott will win his way in the playoffs.
Really? All right. I'm gonna say Suarez. He's gonna do it. Suarez is gonna come back.
All right, and so with that, that will conclude this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you guys follow our socials. We will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Calling out, you want me calling out, you wanting what I think, all these women lie.